they did something to this autopsy wrong, or somebody, whoever did something to my child, they mutilated my son. And I need to know what happened to him. Because Jelani wouldn't have did nothing like that to nobody. He wouldn't have hurt nobody. Jelani shouldn't have been like that. I didn't even get a chance. His brothers and sisters didn't get a chance. His dad didn't get a chance. When people die, you're supposed to be able to make peace and see them. I couldn't even see my baby. I couldn't even look at him because I was scared to look at what that was. But then I had to hear 2 days later what the autopsy report said. And I should have looked at them because I should have seen what they was looking at.
Second autopsy revealed the body was severely decomposed, almost down to a skeleton. She says that there were signs of trauma to his brain. He was missing his eyes and also his genitalia. So many more questions that need to be answered. The family says they also still need help getting those answers. They've hired an odontologist, but also are looking for a forensic pathologist to get some of those DNA questions that were potentially answered the first time around redone, just for clarity.
Jelani Day's mother, Carmen Bolden Day, she is still frustrated with the circumstances surrounding her son's death and what even led to her son's death. Authorities have not paid attention or have even done the necessary things to find out what happened to him. Jelani was 25 years old. He is a graduate student at Illinois State University who went missing August 24th, 2021. His body was later found in the Illinois River on September 4th, 2021. The cause of death was ruled a drowning. He had no drugs or alcohol in his system. However, the manner of death, whether it be homicide, suicide, or accident, it remains unclear. Day's shoes were found strewn across a bizarre path that cut through backyards, across a railroad track, and through a construction area. Day was last seen wearing a blue Jimi Hendrix t-shirt, white shorts, and black shoes. However, his clothing was found in his vehicle 2 days later after he went missing. His vehicle was also concealed in a wooded area of Peru, Illinois, 60 miles north of where he was last seen in Bloomington. I had even found out that the plates were removed off his vehicle. Day ran track at Alabama A&M. He's a member of Omega Psi Phi fraternity. He was also active in his church, very family-oriented, gave back to the community, and he even wanted to be a speech pathologist after witnessing a friend being bullied about their speech when he was younger. He had a lot going for him, and someone clearly had taken that away. Now, his mother had spoke many times that her son was not trying to harm himself. I can't say that S word on here too much. Her son was not trying to harm himself at all. She literally had to say that he was going to do that in order to get the police to act, to get them to do something. She says that in countless interviews that I've seen, that he was not on the verge of harming himself. In May of 2025, she spoke about there being a law in her son's name that can't help him now, but it may help others, particularly other young Black men who are deemed in society as being drug dealers and people that don't matter, that this law can possibly protect them. Again, it didn't protect her son. She's also asking for help in a postcard campaign that she put together involving QR codes that go to the governor's office and the attorney general's office to believe that she's still asking for help. And there is an audio problem here. I do have the link to this video right here in the description box that goes straight to Facebook, where you can hear exactly what she has to say. She speaks a lot more on what's been going on with this case since it happened. His family also believes that he was kidnapped and taken to Peru, Illinois against his will. Someone knows exactly what happened to him. He did not harm himself at all. You cannot hide your plates. You cannot just keep, your college lanyard on and have your money and credit cards go elsewhere and put yourself in the water after getting rid of major parts of your body. That doesn't say harming yourself. It just doesn't. So please go check out that interview and you can hear a lot more of what Carmen Bolden Day had to say. This right here is out of Onuko County, Minnesota. Happened April 17, 2009. A while earlier than what happened to the first Jelani. They had a lot in common. Their situation is very different, but in the same breath, very similar. Quote, I tell him we're going to find out what happened to you, and even if we don't, you're always with us, end quote. That was said by his mother, Alice Hamilton, who visits her son every week at the Calvary Cemetery. On the evening of April 17, 2009, Jelani Brinson had called her, but she never heard the phone ring. She was in an overcrowded restaurant called Mad Jack's. Jelani did not leave a message for his mother as well. 3 of Brinson's friends said that they were all at Mad Jack's at that moment, that same night. So while Brinson was calling his mother, they were in the same restaurant, nor they never seen one another or bumped into one another. After leaving Mad Jack, all went to a party at a local friend's house on Kennedy Street in Onaga County. Around 10 p.m., Brinson would abruptly leave. He didn't say goodbye. The friends say that there were no problems that prompted him to even leave the party. And Brinson and his friends had been there all but 5 minutes when he just left. His mother would call the police late afternoon when Brinson hadn't shown up. He didn't go to work. He did not watch his daughter. He didn't even pick up his car. A few of the things that he was supposed to do. She kept calling, but his phone went straight to voicemail. His mother said he always returned her calls. The mother of his children, Dina Anderson, she said it was not in character for him not to show up at all, especially when it was concerning his daughter. Jelani Brinson was last seen leaving that party near the Onaka golf course. Articles of his clothing were found in a neighbor's backyard, by a construction site en route to the pond. On Saturday, April 25th, 2009, his body was discovered floating in a shallow pond at the Greenhaven golf course. There was no apparent signs of trauma to his body. He did not have on his shoes, yet his socks, which were white, were very clean, which meant he obviously did not walk to the pond. Autopsy reports would say there was no drugs or alcohol in his system. He did not have any heart attacks or brain aneurysms, nor did he drown. However, he was deceased before he was put into the water. His wallet was also found, so robbery was ruled out. Investigators believe that someone at that party knows something that had happened to him. Also, his body had been moved several hours before it was placed in that pond. And of course, somebody knows exactly what happened to him. But it's been years now, and yet nobody has said a thing.
Visits the cemetery every week to talk.
Hello, Jelani.
To her son.
Zion and I are here to spend some time with you on this rainy day.
And 10 years later, she's still making him the same promise.
I tell him we're going to find out what happened to you, and even if we don't, we love you, and you're always with us. That's what I tell him every time.
Jelani Brinson died in 2009 at the age of 24, but the exact date and many other details of his death remain elusive. That April, detectives pulled his body from this pond on Greenhaven Golf Course in Anoka. For the family, it was a tragic ending of an 8-day search and the painful beginning of a 10-year mystery.
There's got to be someone out there that knows what happened.
It's my job to make sure I can get her an answer or some sort of answer.
Detective Maggie Titus recently took over the investigation for the Anoka County Sheriff's Office.
This bigger pile is actually statements and reports that I still am going through. This picture is actually a picture of Jelani that was taken the night he went missing.
Jelani was with 3 former co-workers that night who told investigators they traveled with him to a friend's home in Anoka, just a quarter-mile from where his body would later turn up.
What happened in this 1,516-foot area, what happened to Jelani?
Detective Titus says those with Jelani said he left the home abruptly that night without any confrontation, but photos shared publicly with KARE 11 for the first time show Jelani's shoes, which were found strewn along a bizarre path that cut across railroad tracks and a construction site.
You know, was he being chased? Was he scared of something? His death to me is very suspicious.
The autopsy only deepened the mystery. The coroner ruled out drugs and alcohol as factors, and though they found him in the water, even the cause of death remains undetermined.
As far as I know, he did not drown. We don't even really know what happened. But we know he didn't end up in the pond by himself.
I'm investigating it as a homicide until I find out differently.
That means giving all of the old case files a new look and submitting new evidence for forensic testing.
I'm just hoping that our family can get peace and justice.
Justice for his daughter Zion.
We love you and we hope you have a great time in heaven.
She just turned 11 and has a 9-year-old brother her dad never got to meet.
I miss you a lot, and so does my little brother Jelani and my mom.
So they'll continue to pray.
I feel like he's here right now.
And keep their promise.
And I always say, Jelani, I'll see you next Sunday.
That'd be great.
Okay.
Detective Titus says forensic testing has come a long way in 10 years, and she's hopeful it will provide something that they can take back to the people of interest they have in this case. In the meantime, she's hoping to speak to anyone with any information about that night he disappeared, no matter how minor it may be.
So that is why I say these cases are very similar, but yet very different. So we have Jelani Day, who had everything going for him, and again, somebody sadly had taken that away from him. His mother had to tell authorities that he was going to harm himself in order to get any kind of help. Of course, he couldn't have harmed himself. He wasn't able to take out his own eyes, remove his genitals, put his car in a wooded area, hide the license plate, take his wallet, credit cards, put that somewhere else, and just leave his school lantern around him. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. And then throw himself in a body of water. You know it's foul play. You know multiple people have done this. And to date, it seems that they have gotten away with it. And as for Jelani Brinson, of course, somebody at that party knew exactly what happened. Multiple people at that party knew exactly what happened. But it's like Arrested Development. Everybody is still in that same mindset and nobody has said a thing. And yet we have a girl that was about 1 year old when her father left this earth. And now she is 12, 13 now. It's been well over almost going into 15 years, right? And a newborn son that he's never even got to meet. And yes, both of these young men, Jelani Day and Jelani Brinson, they both need justice.